Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. Really big deal on Smackdown tonight, out of the middle of nowhere. This honestly was a really big surprise. WWE, the last few times that they've used Brock Lesnar, and it's been kind of a surprise. Of course, Brock was the winner of the Money in the Bank this year. As a surprise, just coming out, basically grabbing the briefcase. One of the easiest paydays he's ever done. Then coming out and, sort of being that guy that Paul Heyman was always saying, Brock's going to cash in the Money in the Bank. Brock's going to cash in the Money in the Bank. And Seth Rollins is like, if he's going to do it, let him do it. Bring it on. Brock finally came out at the end of a pay-per-view, cashed in, winning the WWE Universal Championship, only to lose it at SummerSlam. And since then, Brock, a member of the WWE roster, it's almost been like, well, what is he going to do next? And one of the things that was always in the back of a lot of people's mind was that Brock was going to cash in on Kofi Kingston. Kofi, won the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Ever since he's won it, it's always sort of been in the back of people's mind is, when is he going to lose it? And he's held on to the championship for, about 4 or 5 months now. This reign has been longer than a lot of people thought it was going to. He's beat Daniel Bryan. He's beat Randy Orton. Who else has he had a feud with? But now it doesn't look like Brock is going to be... hold on. Kofi, doesn't look like Kofi is going to be putting up the championship on the line at Hell in a Cell, because it doesn't really make sense to book this match that far out. But we've seen them, change booking plans like at Survivor Series. The last 2 years, the match that's been advertised didn't take place because the Smackdown before Survivor Series, we've seen title changes. Daniel Bryan won. Jinder Mahal. I don't know. I think Bryan beat Jinder. And then somebody won the year before, which basically changed Survivor Series, this whole SmackDown versus Raw deal. But, Brock challenging Kofi this far in advance. They want to make sure that the SmackDown moving to Fox is going to be a real big deal. I think that honestly, Brock has a really good chance to beat Kofi. Even if it is this far in advance and it isn't really a surprise attack, you have to sort of go back to 2015, the Beast in the East. It was advertised that Brock was going to be going to Japan. He was going to be a part of the show. People had said that Brock actually asked to go on the show as a way to travel to Japan. He wanted to go back there, and I think the story Meltzer was telling people is that, he wanted to go back and he wanted to meet with somebody from his past, and this was a way for him to get there, and WWE was able to use him as a part of, this house show on the WWE Network, and, they had to have him have a match against somebody. So out of the middle of nowhere, they picked Kofi Kingston, a member of the New Day. Of course, he had been United States champion. He had been Intercontinental champion. He might have even been tag champion at that time, but I'm not 100% sure. And we all knew that Brock was going to win this match. Brock was sort of the main event deal of the whole deal, even though NXT was pushing Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens stronger than anything else that was on the card. This was a show that was main evented by Dolph Ziggler and John Cena teaming up against Corporate Kane and King Barrett. Not the strongest main event that we've ever seen on the WWE pay-per-view. Honestly, people who stayed up to watch this show on, this was on the 4th of July. I can't remember if it was you had to wake up the morning of 4th of July or you watched fireworks, came home, stayed up and watched this show, and then it was actually the 5th of July. I think that's the way it was, but I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, the people who went to sleep when the Cena Ziggler tag match was about to happen, those people won the day because they didn't see nothing, or they didn't miss nothing other than a 30-minute main event. But the Brock versus Kofi match was murder. It was just done. Kofi was able to, use his agility to, if you're going to put somebody against Brock Lesnar, a lot like the AJ Styles. Oh, AJ Styles is the guy. He won the belt from Gender. And I can't remember who Daniel Bryan beat. But, I mean, like, if you're going to, fight Brock in an exhibition match, what you want to do is you want to use your speed against the guy to try and break him down. Brock's only lost in WWE, a handful of times. And, Kofi Kingston was a guy that, using speed like that was something Brock never seen before in WWE. And we all knew that Kofi didn't have a chance, but Kofi did put up a fight, even though Brock, hit him with, I can't remember how many F5s and how many German suplexes he hit him with, but I just remember, at the end of the match, there was a 3 count. Brock got the win, but Xavier Woods and Biggie Langston, who were not at ringside, basically came down to the ring just trying to stop the bleeding. They wanted no part of Brock Lesnar, but they were just really hoping that the numbers game would scare him off to the point where, he was done. Kofi looked dead. I know they don't want to book a champion that way, but hell, if you can look at Night of Champions 2014 and you can look at SummerSlam 2014, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and Brock can beat John Cena, the face of WWE, that way, I think that's the way it's going to happen on Fox. November 15th, I think, is when it goes down. Or is it October 15th? Son of a gun. October 14th. I was off all over the place. SmackDown moves to Fox. That's your first main event. I really honestly think that you're going to see a title change take place right there. I'm not sure when this whole wild card rules ends and the draft actually takes place. It was named the other day, but I didn't remember the date. My guess is it's going to be after the move, so they can put as many names on that show as possible. They need it stocked with, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Roman Reigns, John Cena. If you're under contract at WWE or if you're on good terms with WWE, there's a good chance you're going to be on that show. Basically, if your name isn't signed to a contract for AEW, or I don't really know many guys from New Japan because Jericho's not there anymore, but if you're on good terms and you're out there, you're going to be on that show because SmackDown needs name recognition to move over to Fox. They all know how much money is involved in this deal. They all know how much there is to lose, and it's going to be fucking embarrassing if SmackDown gets canceled. And then they're going to be scavenging just to find a home. There's always USA might be able to take them on. But the money's not going to be quite what Fox has. It's not even going to be close. And you're going to be just desperate to try and find a spot. And we all know what that's like for Impact/TNA. The last few times they've had to basically move from their TV deal. They just, time slot after time slot getting bumped around. And I think they're on Friday nights at like 10 o'clock. But I can't even tell you the truth that that's really where they are. So, I can't even tell you the last time I watched Impact, even though they keep saying that, they swear it's a good show. But, you got to be taking Brock to win this. Brock being the face of SmackDown is going to be good if he can be on the show and they can advertise that he's actually going to wrestle on television, which I think this is his first match that's going to be on TV. It should be fun. Take Brock for the win and get him to win the belt. Not no DQ, not no funny business, not no getting them to the next pay-per-view. Where this match takes place in October. Well, October is normally Hell in a Cell, so I don't know what pay-per-view would be next. They did TLC kind of early last year, if I remember right. They didn't do it in December. Maybe the next one would be TLC. I don't really see them doing Kofi versus Brock in a TLC match, but they're desperate at this point, just trying to do anything to get the fans involved in wrestling. So, Brock for the win. That's what I think. You guys let me know. SmackDown to Fox. They were looking for something big. This is possibly the biggest thing that they can offer.